And here at UTLD, all of us are working to have students who are really successful. That's why we are doing this activity as a teamwork. You know, as in United Nations do, they gather with one unique purpose. And the purpose of this activity is, Teacher Heriberto, would you please explain the purpose of this activity? Just hold on, let me start recording the activity. Please turn on your cameras, everyone. Thank you, Ludivina. Thank you, Luis. Aaron, would you please? Okay. Teacher Heriberto, would you please explain the purpose of this activity?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to welcome each and every one of you, especially those who will be participating in this event. The purpose of this event is to try and express our ideas, our thoughts, our opinions regarding something that has, without a doubt, changed our lives, which has been the impact of the COVID-19 and the lockdown. Through this forum, we will be listening through this COVID-19 lockdown.
Thank you very much, Mr. Heriberto. We are so happy to be here as part of the students that will be talking about the impact of COVID on the economy. Please welcome Frida Barron, who is the student that will talk about this topic. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen now. Just wait. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, my name is Frida Barron. I am from the C1 Plus group, and today we're going to be talking about COVID-19 and its impact on economy. Okay, first of all, I'm going to start this presentation with a question that 3 years ago would have made no sense at all. However, I can definitely assure that this date marked before and after in life as all of us knew it. Where were you on March 11? I'm going to answer this question myself very quick. On March 11, I was leaving school, hugging my friends, saying, "See you on Monday, y'all." I arrived home, I checked my social media as usual, and my timeline was full with this post that said that the World Health Organization had declared the coronavirus outbreak as a pandemic. One of the results of it is that I haven't came back to school on regular classes since then. That was on March 2019, 2.5 years ago. But of course, our school was not the only thing that closed. Restaurants, touristic places, streets, businesses, companies, markets, airports, even borders were closed too, which led to affect your economy on a global level. It was estimated by the IMF that the global economy shrunk by 4.4% in 2020, which is the worst since the Great Depression in the 1930s. Many people lost their jobs because, well, companies lost a lot of money since they had to close. So as of today, Australia is barely getting back on track of the job vacancies, but France, Spain, the UK, and several other countries are still lagging. The only major economy to grow in 2020 was the place where everything started, China, registering a growth of 2.3%. I hope this is not the case, but we should not be mad about this. On the contrary, we should be happy for them since now they are recovering from this horrible situation. So let's wish them well and let's keep hoping for us to be there real soon. Billions of dollars have been lost in 2020, and although the forecast for 2021 is better, unfortunately, many analysts believe that international travel and tourism won't return to normal pre-pandemic levels until around 2025. But Talking specifically about Mexico, we are slowly rebounding from the initial shock of the coronavirus pandemic. Lifting lockdowns increased economic activity, especially in the service sector. As we might have seen in the streets, half of our population still works in the informal economy, unfortunately without any social or health benefits. I read a post that one market seller did, stating, and I quote, "Either we die of COVID or we die of not having money to eat. There's no other choice." Us, people who are working or taking classes from home, people who are working in places where they care about their health, or even people who have availability to the health system, all of us, we are Mexicans who are privileged. That's why even though I know online shopping has grown a lot since the pandemic started, I am asking you guys to care about our locals too. Let's leave the great enterprises aside from time to time to help with all the health measures, of course, to our local entrepreneurs. And according to a survey carried out in early 2021, close to 8 of 10 respondents in Mexico considered that their family's finances were impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Additionally, nearly 7 in every 10 survey participants stated that the sanitary crisis had affected their work life. In the same survey, nearly 3/4 of Mexican respondents stated that they believe that it will take between 6 months and 1 year for their families to overcome the economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic. And only around 1 in every 10 Mexicans in this survey declared that they estimated to get over their financial difficulties in less than 3 months. Fortunately, 130 million vaccine doses have been administered all over our country. 51.8 millions of Mexicans have both doses, which means 41.1% of the Mexican population have been fully vaccinated. So let's keep waiting for things to improve now. And now I'm gonna say this quote. And the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new things of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows. And the people began to think differently, and the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully, as they had been healed. By Kitty O'Mara. So thank you so much, guys, for your attention. And I hope that things improve from now. Have a nice day.
Thanks a lot. Please clap to your classmate, Frida. And now I have some questions to ask to Jade Rodriguez. Are you there?
Yes, Miss.
Hey, Jade, how are you today?
Hi, Miss. I'm great, thank you. And you?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. I would like to know your thoughts about what are the governments doing to deal with the impact of COVID crisis on the economy?
Well, talking worldwide, governments are taking economic, fiscal, and monetary measurements, which involve increasing social spending, lowering interest rates, intervening in exchange rate markets, suspension of bank loan collections, provision of credit lines for the payment of salaries. In companies, they're freezing off the surges for non-payment of water services and actions to avoid basically the shortage of basic goods and other activities.
Excellent answer. Thank you. And how does the COVID affect the national economy here in Mexico?
Well, the magnitude and characteristic of this impact can be identified in 3 phases or different stages. On one hand, there was a first effect at the end of the first quarter of 2020, derived from the closure of several countries and the corresponding cancellation of flights worldwide. This represented like a huge negative shock in March in those states and regions of the country oriented to touristic activity. Now, in the second instance, economic activity in the country slowed down significantly as a result of the decision to suspend all those activities considered non-essential. And this decision affected several manufacturing and service sections that had to close temporarily to ensure social distancing. And the third phase, which we're currently in, and which began in the month of July, is defined by a reopening process that will be slowed and more gradual than originally anticipated. This implies that the new normal will be one in which various economic activities will continue to be affected and will not be able to return to their previous conditions.
Wow, she has done excellent research. Very good, Jade. Thanks a lot. And now I would like to know the thoughts of Silvia Deraz. Hi.
Hi, Miss.
Okay, what is Mexico doing to support the economy?
Well, we are a really supportive and empathetic country, so we always help each other. So I have seen a lot of people doing donations to different sectors or organization, like people buying in the local markets or stores to, well, to boost the economy, also supporting a small business. So I think these kind of actions really help our country through this hard time.
That's right. And what if people need more time to pay taxes to SAT?
Well, for me, it will be great if they reduce them or to give the easiness to pay them in parts, in like a smaller parts. Well, so it can be possible to afford them. Of course, this is something that we have to pay. Like, there's no way we get out of it. So also, it could be great if they adjust the taxes to our current situations.
Yeah, that would be great. And what about people that lost their jobs?
Well, I think this was one of the saddest things that happened to this pandemic. Like, when the decision of stopping any activity was made, a lot of companies, factories, and workers were affected by this because everything happens so fast and there were no options, no alternatives. And also, we didn't have like enough information about it, so everyone was just freaking out about it. And of course, it will be great if people can get the jobs back, but of course, it's hard because many of these companies, factories already closed do this. So I think the government can help them by giving them like basic food and products, like this kind of pantries, so they can, well, survive do this hard time when they have no money.
Thank you for your thoughts. And I would really like to thank you guys, Jade, Silvia, and Frida, for being part of this event. Thanks a lot, guys. It was the class C1 Plus, and we go back with Mr. Heriberto. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for the participants in Ms. Vivian's C1 group. They did an excellent job exposing, explaining, and giving us their thoughts. Now, let's continue with Mr. Edwin's B2 Plus group, in which they will be discussing, among many things, the educational impact that has come worldwide.
Thank you guys, and thank you to Ms. Viviana's group. You did it so great. And let me introduce my guys. So those are Angela, are you there?
Hi.
And Luis.
Hi.
So they're going to explain, or they're going to talk about a really small opinion and exposition about the COVID and the education, right? Because this, I think this is the one that we are relate with, because we suffered, or we were into this issue a lot, right? So let's take a look and let's listen to them. All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, teacher. The first, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Hi, my name is José Luis Marmolejo López, and my partner is Ángela Reynoso. And we are here to talk about this presentation about the COVID, this famous topic, and how we embrace it in a new lifestyle that we consider as the school and the daily life. First of all, what is the definition of COVID? And at this point, I think we know what is COVID and what are the symptoms, and all it spreads around the people and the things that we touch. But those who know don't know, here are the common symptoms of the coronavirus. The first are the fever, the high temperature of 38 degrees Celsius or above, the cough, any type of cough, not just dry, shortness of breath or breathing difficulties, and loss of change to your sense to smell or taste when we don't know if this COVID or other symptom of another disease. Are we affected in and talking about the global pandemic? Since last year, this virus stopped most of the activities in the world, such as concerts, meetings, and business. And the most important were the schools. But most of the people affected are we, the students. Some of us have to learn about computers and ICT problems like the meetings, the Google meeting, Zoom, and those things. And including teachers, I see a lot of teachers that are difficulty with those problems, but they make it on learning about those things. And in my personal opinion, I had to buy another computer because I studied in the career of TICS. And this bag helped me to improve my works and work more fluently. And I appreciate that. Some things that I appreciate of this pandemic and the situation is that I don't spend much money in transport and food and the school, those things, because I home office, we have food and some things that we can touch in the house. But slowly these days we are coming back to the school. We came in school as in the past, but with a lot of restriction. That is clear. These restrictions can be the system hybrid that the school is implementing right now, and my partner will tell one of them and some restriction that we can use in the school.
When we return to face-to-face classes, we have to take measures. For example, wash your hands well and often to avoid contamination. How to wash your hands with soap and water. Wet your hands with warm water and apply soap. Rub your hands together until the soap forms a lather. Rub the top of your hands between your fingers and under your fingernails. Do this for about 20 seconds. Rinse your hands under running water. Dry your hands with a clean towel or paper towel. Next, please. What is social distancing? Social distancing means keeping distance or space between people to help prevent the spread of the disease. To help slow the spread and reduce the risk of the virus, keep a minimum distance of 2 meters, or keeping your distance. Keeping your distance is very important, even if you are not sick. To putting on the mask, wash or sanitize your hands to avoid contamination. Cover your nose and mouth with the mask. To taking off the mask, don't touch the outside of the mask. Place the mask in a bin for after a removal. Do not wear the face covering below your nose. Do not leave your chin exposed. Do not wear it loosely with gaps on the sides. Do not wear it so it covers just the tip of your nose. Do not push it under your chin to rest on your neck. These reminders should be on every corner of the school. These filters are already in school. For example, have the windows always open, keep distance, have antibacterial gel, and have a disposable mask.
Another solution that we can think about it is we can, well, the government of the representative of this country can develop an application where the users can be used by the test of COVID. If one user is positive of COVID, he is in the register of positive COVID in the application, and those who don't vaccinated, I think it appears in the application too. Any questions?
Well, thank you very much, students, for that very insightful and interesting presentation on how we need to take some measures when returning back to school. Now, Mr. Edwin, is there any questions you would like to ask?
Yes, please. Sorry, it was a wrong click. So let me go for. Let me give you some question, guys. Let's see. Open that list. So I don't know. Maybe could be Hector Tadeo Chavez. Are you here, sir? Yes. All right. So can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Okay. I got a question for you. Does the coronavirus outbreak affect schooling?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Does the coronavirus outbreak affect schooling?
Oh, well, yes.
How?
How? Well, we can go to school, basically. Then we have to attend the classes here in online.
All right. So for you, that affected in that way, right?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. So let's see. Nicole Contreras.
Yes.
How are the services of digital and population data services agency affected by the coronavirus outbreak? The services of digital and population data services.
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, for sure. How are the services of the digital and population data services agency, for example, I don't know, Megacable, and then some population data services like internet providers, you know, affected by coronavirus outbreak?
Oh, well, I think that they got, I don't know, for example, the internet, they got a better, they need to be better because now we all use internet and we all use these online platforms to take classes or take courses or many things because we can just be there, be in presential classes or in presential courses. So we need to take all of this online. So that's why I think that they have to upgrade their system or their status to be better for us.
Great, thank you. So let's take a look. Elsa, Christina?
Yes.
Are digital public services at risk right now?
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, again. Are digital public services at risk?
No, of course they are not. They are now like our key to be in school. We are now in their hands but I hope you can understand me. They had like a increase of all their services. They before COVID they weren't like that famous. They weren't that necessary because we could go to school. But now we depend on them. So no, they are not on risk at all.
All right, great. Thank you, appreciate it. And then let's go for Luna Sofia.
Yes, teacher.
And how the global ICT systems ensure that its services operate efficiently and without disruption during these exceptional circumstances. Again, how the global ICT systems ensure that its services operate effectively. All right, till there. Let's have it till there. Right.
To be honest, I don't know how to answer this question. I don't have the information or the knowledge.
All right. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. Let's see. Mauricio Alejandro.
Can you repeat it?
Yeah, sure. So how the global ICT systems ensure that its services operate effectively?
ATT?
ICT.
ICT refers to digital systems. So how do you ensure they provide the service effectively?
Okay. Okay, I got not the knowledge or the background on it, but I think that in this moment, or at least when the lockdown begins, there was, or there were millions of dollars invested in infrastructure to be sure that the telecommunication is going to be okay.
Great, great, sir. Thank you. And for us, that's it pretty much. All right. Thank you very much for your attention and participation. All right. And let's do give the participation to Miss Jackie. Thank you.
Thank you very much to B2 Plus level students. Thank you, teacher Edwin, for supporting your students. They did a great research. Now we are going to continue with social and psychological effect issues with teacher Heriberto and their C1 students. The microphone is yours, teacher.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, first of all, we'd like to congratulate all of the participants that have so far exposed the information. We have talked about the economical impact. We have talked about the educational impact worldwide. But there is an aspect regarding this COVID outbreak and lockdown that has affected that many people are actually not paying attention to, which is the social, psychological, emotional impact that the lockdown has had. Starting from young children to young adults, such as most of our participants here today. So to express and explain a little bit about this topic, I would like to hand over the mic to Ms. Elsa Cristina Lopez, who will be in charge of exposing in brief, less than 2 minutes, how this is affecting the youth. Miss Elsa, are you ready?
Yes, I was sharing the screen. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes, we can. Thank you very much.
Okay. To start with, hello, good morning. My name is Elsa, and I'm going to talk you all a little bit about the impact of COVID-19 in the social and psychological development among children and young adults. Well, to start with, the COVID-19, the 2019 coronavirus pandemic and lockdown both have brought about a sense of fear and anxiety around the globe. This phenomenon has led to short-term as well as long-term psychosocial mental health implications for children and young adults. It is important to mention that their quality and magnitude of impact in minors is determined by many vulnerability factors, such as educational status, pre-existing mental health condition, being economically unprivileged, or being quarantined due to infection or fear of infection. And well, COVID-19 was and is actually still a public health emergency of international concern, which poses a major challenge to mental health as a result of its impact in this 21st century. And as I just said, different research in this past epidemic have revealed a deep and a wide range of psychosocial consequences at the individual and collective level. For example, there are multiple associated psychological disturbances ranging from isolated symptoms to complex disorders with marked implements of functionality such as insomnia, anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. In children, it is important to mention that it is in children. And also a fact that accept is that the most recent data from them indicates that 1 out of 7 children has been directly affected by the confinements. Well, at first, this lockdown will look as an adventure for children. They will think it was, well, they were appreciating the fact that they were not going to attend anymore to school, or they will love the fact that they will spend more time with their relatives. And also young adults, I mean us, were happy to spend more time surfing through the internet with no limits. But as time passed by, there began to appear certain problems such as boredom, lack of attention, apathy, and in the most alarmist cases, children started developing a personality and eating disorders, which was very alarming for all of us. Um, just as a kind of conclusion, I would like to advise you all to put mental health as your priority. Not only in yourself, but also if you have little brothers, little sisters, or children that are around you, well, who are around you, I would like you to go to a psychologist, because now we may think that we are happy at the moment, but we have been locked down during a whole year or even more, and we don't know when this is going to finish. So I would like you all to see if you are okay at all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very interesting information. As I mentioned before, everybody's very focused in the economical, in the political, in the educational system, and very little attention is being placed in the aspect of the emotional, psychological stress that is being held. Now, I would like to open this opportunity and ask a couple of questions. I would like to ask, let's see, Miss Abril Alexa Cortez, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Hi. I would like to ask you, how are parents with young kids coping with the stress and psychological situation caused by the COVID-19 lockdown?
Well, this pandemic has been stressful for everyone, but facing the pandemic with young kids is even more stressful. I mean, experts in psychology confirm the fact that parents are facing very difficult times, especially if they are raising young kids, in addition to having to deal with health measures and how difficult a pandemic is. Parents have to raise, educate, support their children, plus work and maintain their mental stability as healthy as possible. So for me, they have the most complicated task. That is the reason why most have had to deal with the stress of having young kids in COVID-19 time. And this made parents feel tired, increased parental fatigue. Being a parent is a daily challenge. And faced with the realities of COVID-19, social distancing, and self quarantine, it might be a struggle.
Definitely agree. Thank you very much for that very well thought out answer. Now, let me ask Mr. Ernesto Alejandro Ortiz. Are you there, sir?
Yes.
Hi. I would like to ask you, how serious is the negative effect of social distancing among young children and young adults, such as yourselves?
Well, I have to say that is very serious. And why this is very serious? Well, the young children quickly adapted to this situation, and their environment totally began to revolve around technology. This technological adaptation of the young children create a big barrier between both generations. Now, the young children have a different way of socializing against the young teens that still want to hang out with their friends or something like that.
Completely agree. And it's very interesting that you point out the difference in between how young kids and teens and young adults still have the necessity to socialize. And it's true with younger kids now, everything revolves around technology. Thank you very much for that input. I have one more question in this section, and I would like to ask Ms. Rosa Maria Hernandez.
Yes, teacher.
Hi. I would like to ask you, how was social life affected, especially in young adults? And most importantly, do you believe is it reversible?
Well, this had like a big impact in our social life. And on my point of view, I believe that the negative sides might not be reversible when it comes to mental health. And this is because when you have anxiety or when you have depression, you don't find a cure for it. You just learn to deal with it. So, what are we going to do? Deal with the situation. And this is going to start to affect our social skills to future.
Definitely, definitely. Well, we can just hope for the best. Now, to close this section, I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Jonathan Garcia, who will mention some tips or some advice, some possible solutions to the situation.
Thank you. We all together have been discussing these negative effects the pandemic has brought with it. And I am pretty sure we all have probably seen people around us, maybe acquaintances, maybe yourself, who have been through these types of situations. Finally, to conclude, I would like to give you some recommendations and tips on how to deal with this situation. Tips especially focus on providing support to teens and children by us as young adults and adults who have been having a better understanding of the atmosphere we live in right now. So the first one I would like to say is to build an atmosphere of trust. As parents, older siblings, other relatives, or just caregivers, children and teens are more likely to trust you more than anybody else. Building an atmosphere of trust will help them to understand that they can trust you, that you are there for them to listen to their emotions, support them through whatever they're going through. They have to feel comfortable enough to express their thoughts. It is important for you to let them know that it's okay to have emotions, and that is something that we all experience. It's something normal. And as older people with better understanding of this, we should provide them with facts about COVID-19, about the situation in a way that they understand. Always taking time to answer their questions and reassure them that they are safe. Now, exploring their creativity and imagination. Being at home doesn't have to be boring. Encourage them to do the things they enjoy doing. This could be painting, drawing, coloring, wearing a journal, watching a favorite movie, reading a favorite book, and other things that will also help them to build their future selves with new skills, interests, develop a personality, and it's something that might also help to replace the lack of social interaction. Now, combat negative thinking. Children and teens are likely to fall for negative comments towards themselves, saying that they can do something, they're bad at doing something, or even worse, that they hate doing something. Whenever this situation happens, instead of just disagreeing, we as adults should ask them questions that will help them realize if they actually don't enjoy something, or if it's just something a little bit more complicated that requires more effort to be performed. Giving them a positive view of the situation will possibly help them to develop resilience to stress. Finally, creating routines. I feel like one of the main causes of children developing this kind of stress and mental illnesses is the lack of a routine. We all were used to a routine. However, us as adults, we managed to create a new routine, a new set of activities. But children had a fixed routine, waking up, getting ready, going to school, coming back home and playing around. The lack of a routine has caused stress because their day seems to be the same every single day. Now, this can be solved by creating a routine, waking up, exercising, scheduling time for fun activities, painting, gardening, and even useful activities that might help them to become good people. For example, learning to be organized, maybe recycling, or reading books. And I guess that'll be it for my part. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to all the participants in this section. Last but not least, the final part of this forum will be presented by the B2 Plus group. Now, in this case, the first couple of presentations have been explaining the national and worldwide effect. But now let's make it more personal. what is the impact in our community? To further explain this situation, I would like to invite Mr. Miguel Angel, who will be presenting the impacts of the COVID-19 lockdown in our community.
Hello, teacher. Hello, everyone. COVID-19 impact on our community. As a community of our world, La Laguna has had a lot of troubles with the pandemic. This time of lockdown in La Laguna highlight the structural problems of our system. The COVID-19 pandemic, more than just the virus, has put on the table the issue of social inequality, which, although it has become relevant in recent years, had never been weighted against current conditions. Most of the population of La Laguna believes that COVID-19 is the least of their problems. Even with the mortality rate, the first thing that the government must do is to bring better paid jobs, followed by providing quality public services and security. Social inequality in La Laguna is understood as the difference in possibilities of work or labor mobility, as well as personal and technological possibilities. All these have made the lockdown seem quite easy to apply and reasonable on paper, but not so effective or easy to follow, since society and economy require certain conditions that contradict the lockdown rules. More than 50% of the Laguneros consider that the government does not take them account. But in Torreon, both in Torreon and Gomez, 9 out of 10 parents enroll their children in public schools, and more than 60% of their parents consider that the public education has become worse with the home learning. More than a third of families are underbound and have economical difficulties due to the low income they receive. About 50% of young people who don't know study is because they have economic problems and had to enter to work. There is no doubt that COVID-19 has brought with it is not only the problematic of the virus, but also a wave of other problems in our community.
Thank you very much, sir. Now we can see how it has affected in a more personal level, just as it mentions, and how not only the economical, but the educational problem within our community is actually very, very noticeable. Now I would like to ask a couple of questions to some of the participants. I would like to ask Ms. Stephanie Soto, are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thank you. I would like to ask you, who is responsible for preparing the necessities for our community, such as healthcare and the educational system? And do you believe that they are meeting such necessities?
Okay, the government of each state, like Durango and Coahuila in this case, is responsible for the healthcare and the educational system. And the Secretary of National Defense is responsible for the distribution of the vaccines. In my opinion, they are doing a good job in terms of healthcare, but in general, I feel they lack good organization because on 2 occasions at the expo in Gomez Palacio, they have run out of vaccines 2 days into the 18 to 29-year-old vaccination campaign. Because of the people getting the line, and it makes 2 people who did not get vaccinated get angry and start to fight or close the streets because of their anger. And they even start to hit the volunteers, people who aren't to the blame. So if they had a good organization, things like this would have been avoided.
Thank you. And it's very interesting that you mentioned that they are in some ways meeting the necessities, but they lack the organization. Thank you very much for your thoughts. I have another question. Now I would like to ask Miss Ludivina. Miss Ludi, hi, how are you?
Hi, teacher. I'm doing great, thanks.
Excellent. I would like to ask you, how is the local public school systems, talking about elementary, middle school, and high school, coping with this crisis?
Well, in my opinion, the public system is not handling the situation well. For example, I have a cousin who is in elementary school, and my aunt told me that they send them a lot of activities via WhatsApp, and they can send them on Monday, and the deadline is Friday. And what is worse is that sometimes the instructions are not very clear, and the ones who end up doing all the activities are the adults. And it's the same for both middle and high schools. There are teachers who only upload activities, and the classes are not so frequent. And as a result, students can feel demotivated, and because they are all activities, they don't end up doing them. However, these do not apply to all teachers. I think that there are some teachers who are very committed to their work and put their heart and soul into it, so the final results are great. But these are isolated situations anyway.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that opinion. And this is true, especially if we have or we know we have contact with people who have children in the public school systems. We can actually agree that this situation is a very common thing. Thank you, Ms. Ludi, for that great opinion. Thank you very much. And finally, I would like to ask Mr. Mauricio. Are you here, sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh, hi. Hi. I would like to ask you, is the private school system here in our community, is a private school system doing a better job at coping with this situation?
I can say that the private school sector is doing better than the public sector, at least here in La Laguna. Due to the pandemic, we underwent lockdown almost 1.5 years ago. And it took to public middle schools like Ricardo Flores Magon almost a month just to send a simple WhatsApp message to the students. In most of the public schools, teachers are just, sending homework through WhatsApp, but there is no feedback or something else. Public schools in Lerdo and Gomez Palacio just start semi-presential classes 2 months ago. On the other hand, private schools have been taking semi-presential classes for almost a year. Private schools nowadays have more filters to get in, and when any student looks sick, school will send the student home and ask for a negative COVID-19 test. This is happening here in La Laguna in private schools and most of the public universities here in La Laguna, for example, Universidad de La Laguna.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much for giving us that insight. See, there was some personal information there about our school systems here in our region. So without a doubt, we can talk about how this pandemic has affected worldwide, but let's not forget that here in our community, we are facing these problems. So the thing is, how can we help? What can we do to try and remedy this situation? I would like to close this section by handing the mic over to Ms. Luna, who will give us some tips, advice, and recommendations for this situation.
Well, we consider a couple of possible solutions. Some of them are that the university students can be prepared to give basic knowledge regularization to public school children who were not receiving online classes during the whole quarantine. This activity could be counted as, social service to the students who wish to support. And other possible solution can be that school for families. There is another option that we can integrate. Here, we could train families in the organization of their time and provide them with information on why it is so important that their children continue with their students. Other possible solution is donations. Donation like antibacterial gel, sanitizer, cleaning supplies, or maybe computer equipment from companies in La Laguna like, I don't know, Peñoles or Lala or así. And this will allow children to return to school with classrooms that are in optimal conditions for a safe return to school. Another solution to implement is technology training for public school teachers, since in many cases they do not have the knowledge to provide online classes. So these trainings could also be provided to university students to teach them how to enter class from their cell phones or computer, I don't know. The last solution that we believe could benefit us is the creation of an internet portal on Facebook where low-income families are provided with information about government support, and the objective of this is to facilitate the information and make it reach as many families as possible who need it. And it's all from my part. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And congratulations to you all for this wonderful exposition. This will bring a close to this event. We highly appreciate your attention and all of your participation. Let's now hand over the mic to Ms. Jackie for final words.
Well, thank you very much to all of you. You did an outstanding exposition, excellent proposals. Your participations were very clear, precise. You were very coherent. Each topic was had a cohesion, perfect cohesion one to another. And trust me, your speech pace was perfect. So congratulations, you are a step ahead to be excellent speakers. And congratulations and thanks to the teachers who supported students here. And well, I have nothing else to say except thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your commitment. And thank you for keeping up, keep on studying and keep on trying to improve. Thank you very much. Here is our director of Vinculación, Teacher María José. Would you like to say something?
Felicidades. La verdad es que no pude entrar antes, pero lo último que escuché me dejó gratamente sorprendida. Muchas felicidades, chicos, por su facilidad de palabra, pero también por su arrojo de hablar en público, la claridad de sus ideas. Me da mucho gusto escucharlos y creo propicio este momento para invitarlos a que se incorporen el día de mañana a la reunión de Toastmaster, mañana de 10 a 11:30 de la mañana, para que sigan enriqueciendo su liderazgo y su habilidad para hablar en público. Muchas felicidades, María Gil, Jacqueline Gil, por este evento, y gracias a todos sus profesores en la persona del profesor Heriberto Alvarado.
Okay, well, that's all from our part. If you don't have anything else to say, maybe one of the teachers, would you like to add something? Well,
I already attached the Meet link for the Toastmaster tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, you will be more than welcome tomorrow if you want to. Well, that's all for today. Thank you very much for being here and enjoy your weekend.
Thanks a lot.
You too, miss.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No se vayan, teachers, please.
Thank you.
Ya se fue Vivian, pero no importa. Okay, let's stop. Well, we are going to gather in a different because we have a live transmission. So
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we'll open. Let's close this and let's. Well, we can have a conversation later, right?
Yes, ma'am. Would
Yes,
you like to jump over to the training course meet group?
Yeah, please.
Okay,
Please.
let's go ahead and jump into that
Can
one.
you yeah, can you send the link, please?
Sure. Let me send you the link right now through the meets.
All right.
Okay.
Very
Give me
See.
just 1 second. Give me just 1 second so I can share the link for Mr. Edwin.
Okay. I'll close this.
Yes.